Well, hey folks, I'm here today on another podcast with my friend Khris Hamlin. And Chris and I are going to talk about what he's been up to and what's happening with their upcoming conference. But Chris, before we jump into all that good stuff, how was your Valentine's Day?
It was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. Look, I didn't forget it this year, Steph. So that's like
Hey,
step number one, right?
it's hard to forget it's February 14th, if you know the
Yeah.
date.
I do have a tough one though, because the I have February 14th and then my wedding anniversary is February 22nd. And so
Oh,
like it is like I got a tight little window. So I can't if I forget one, I'm definitely in trouble. But this year I actually it worked out well for me this year. So
all
yeah.
right,
How
good,
about you?
good. My husband and I joke about this. We actually don't celebrate Valentine's Day. We think it's a made-up holiday, like a Hallmark
Right?
holiday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're kind of the anti, but we celebrate love year round, Chris.
I love that. I love that. That's super special.
It is, it is. So how
Yeah.
have you been? You good?
Been good, been good, been busy. Things are
Yeah,
I can't, first off, I can't imagine it was just February 14th, February, middle of February already.
I
To know
know.
that the year is going so fast, which leads us to why we're having this conversation today, because we're almost at the middle part of the year, which is, of course, our conference. So yeah.
Yeah, springtime. Brings many things, flowers, rain, but it also brings the RILA Asset Protection Conference, which I'm always excited about. So you guys are going to Phoenix this year. So it's been a while since we've been in Phoenix.
It's been a while since we've been in Phoenix. It's been a while since we've been off of the East Coast and on the West Coast. And so I know many of our retail members have been like, when are we going to come to, yeah, like we're always either East Coast or middle of the country. But now we're going to be on the West Coast. So it'll be, well, close enough to the West Coast. We can call it West Coast, but it'll be West
Yeah,
Coast field. So
yeah, I love it. And it is kind of hard on folks on the West Coast. They always kind of get the short end of the stick and with
yeah,
that time zone change. But hopefully the weather is beautiful in Phoenix. And you guys are at the convention center. You're in the South Building, so that should be a nice big venue for you.
yeah, yeah.
Looks good. So April 19th to the 22nd is what I'm showing. That's
That is
right?
correct.
Yep.
19th to the 22nd. Now, what's going to be super cool, I think, in my opinion, of this year is that since we're in the convention center, so traditionally before we've been in other venues, which, it might take you a little longer. It's like a little city inside of a city. It's
Gaylord.
You said it, not me. But this year, we'll be in the convention center. The cool thing is that everything will be on one floor. So you'll be able to have the
Nice.
general sessions in one space. You'll have the expo hall in another. You'll have breakout sessions, shortly down the hall from that, but all in one space. The other cool thing I think is that because we're in a convention center, it allows us to be able to activate more. So we got multiple hotels this go around, so you don't have to, a lot of my asset protection. I think I was one of those guys too back in the day. You have those that favor one brand versus the other. Well,
Yeah.
now you got several that you can choose from in the area and be able to satisfy it all. And then it'll be cool at the convention center because the proximity is good, less walking, less movement, and you'll be able to spend more time in the expo hall. A lot of people said that they didn't get a chance because of where the distance was from general sessions to the expo hall. Well, they're right next door now, so there's no excuse. You'll be able to spend some time all through there.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I love it. I love being able to spend quality time in the expo hall. I think we've talked about this before, but that's huge. But let's back it up a little bit and talk about just in general, just for folks
Right.
maybe who have never been to a Relay AP conference, what can they expect? A brand new person.
Yeah. So, before I even tell you what you can expect, what I'd love to share with you, and I'll put this out there, our theme for this year, and I haven't said this to anybody so far this year.
Oh,
So
breaking
this is
news.
this is breaking news. Our 2026 conference theme is called Ground Truth. And so,
Oh,
this is, when you think about ground truth, and it's a military term, but when you think about ground truth, it's about cutting through the noise, cutting through the headlines, the assumptions, the hype, cutting through all that stuff. Like, as asset protection professionals, we get that phone rings. When you and I were back in stores, the phone rings for everything. Bird in the stock room, shoplifter over here, something happening there, person ran out of that door, all the noise that's out there. And it's a lot more noisier since we've been in the seat stuff,
oh yeah.
with what's happening inside of the stores. When you think about ground truth, it's about bringing these asset protection executives back to what matters most for the organization. What is the truth on the ground? And it's, at the end of the day, it's about protecting people, protecting product, and protecting the brand reputation at the end of the day. And so those are the key core things that we plan to deliver in our conference. To have that transparent benchmarking opportunities, the direct access to enterprise AP leaders, to be able to rub shoulders with law enforcement and prosecutors in the same room, and to also learn about technologies that are grounded in the work that we do every day, which is protecting people and protecting products. And then lastly, for those newbies that might be their first conference or first time with us, it's about really hearing from these leaders that are dealing with real world scenarios. And so this is not just a conference where you come and you hear presentations and you walk away. This is a place where you're able to benchmark, rub shoulder with fellow leaders within the industry, and really kind of look at and understand what's happening on the ground and how we can solve it as an industry together.
Well, I think you guys nailed it on the head with your theme. This is the first time I'm hearing it, so I'm just saying that. But I think anything that's going to cut through the static, through the noise,
Yeah.
because oh my gosh, the distractions are just overwhelming right now. So I absolutely love this theme, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm excited, and I'm excited to be able to share it with you first. So this is kind of cool.
I love it. I love it. So, we talk about noise and things moving a million miles an hour, and we'll come back to the show. But I think that's a good segue into one of my questions I wanted to talk about is what is RILA doing to help AP leaders adjust and kind of pivot with all of the things changing, namely AI. Like technology
Yeah.
is just changing so quickly right now. How is RILA supporting with that
One of the so like AI, that's like the buzzword.
for everyone?
It's like everything we do. Like this pen might have AI built into it. Like there's so
I
many
could be
things that
AI.
you could be AI. See, I could be AI.
Yeah.
It's so many things that are out there. When you think about AI, you think about technology. All this stuff is moving ever so fast. But the one thing that I hear from many of my retail counterparts out there and peers across the industry is, what actually works, what has been tried, what has been evaluated, and what works. And so, one of the challenges that our members bring back to me is creating these peer groups, creating these sessions where peers can benchmark on AI, benchmark on biometrics, benchmark on analytical deployments across their fleet of stores, and really understand, what can be leveraged to solve a problem. I look at these sessions, not really, it's benchmarking, but I call it more so like a technology reality check. Like this is a
Mhm.
place where you can understand what the problem is and then look at what the operational alignment could be and really kind of solve for those challenges that are out there. And the other core thing here is these sessions that we're bringing together, we bring together these leaders, not only just within the AP remit, but we also bring in leaders that are from the operations side of the business, from the sales side of the business. You get this cross-functional alignment so that everybody can look at it from end to end. Does the technology reduce the risks? Or at least solve for it. Is it legally sustainable? Is it culturally viable? And then lastly, is it something, if a retailer is going to invest in it, is it something that can scale across their ecosystem? Something that can be across their entire enterprise and not just, you know, a one-trick pony, as we call it in the industry. Like you don't want to solve for one thing today and then have a massive problem tomorrow. But you want to know, is this innovation something that's validated and can actually grow with the business?
Yeah, I think, you're talking about two different ways that Real helps is, you do your monthly calls for the leadership. But the conference itself is a great way, to get in front of solution providers to, like you said, rub shoulders with other leaders. I can tell you one of my greatest fears I had when I was an AP was sitting in front of a solution provider and just not knowing what they were talking about. Just with the glazed look on my face. I
Yes.
can't even imagine trying to listen to someone talk about AI right now because I'd be like, what? That's why I think this benchmarking is so important.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's like when you're able to sit back and say, okay, retailer one, retailer two. two different places, but guess what? We're having the same problem. And,
Hmm.
and and now we're like, okay, so like, what have you done? Here's what I've done. Here's what I've evaluated. Here's what I'm thinking. And to be able to kind of ideate off of that information, and then you do that, like I said, like you said, in those small sessions, our monthly calls, our benchmarking surveys that go out there, our collaborative sessions that happen, and then you come to the conference, and like this is the culmination of everything because now you're with that peer in person. And guess what? There are several solution providers here. There's going to be a hall full of solutions that you're able to now say, okay, we heard about it. You talked about it. My partner over here saw it or they're deploying it, but now I can interact and see it firsthand myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to give you guys a shout out. So you were so kind to let me attend the leadership calls that you have every month. And I'm just a fly on the wall. I don't report on anything. It's all anonymous, right? But it's really good for me to listen in and hear, what are the top concerns, kind of where's everybody's heads at. And one of the things that astounds me on those calls is just how open everyone is. They're just like they're vulnerable, they ask questions. I mean, we're talking VPs on this call, and they're like, hey, I don't have a solution. Can you guys help me out? And I love the spirit of collaboration that I hear on those calls. It's great.
That's one of the key things. That's the secret sauce of RILA. I just want to use that's the secret sauce. So like when you think about it, you know, how much easier is it for a leader that's at that VP level or at that senior director level to be able to talk to somebody else that's not in their organization, but at that same level? And when you think about it, when you have that peer level communication and collaboration back and forth, it allows you to be able to step away from being so guarded and go
Mhm.
to a place where you could just say, hey, look, I haven't figured this out. You haven't figured it out. I haven't figured it out. They haven't figured it out. Let's put our heads together and see what we can come up with so that we can better our organizations. It is that room is a room where competitiveness goes out the door. We only compete against the bad guy in that room. And this is where the innovation and the collaboration really kicks in.
Yeah, and you do a great job teeing it up. I'm just amazed. You put the topic out there, and you maybe poke a little bit, like, "Hey, what do you all think?" But you just kind of sit back and let the room, collaborate, which is great, Chris. I
I
appreciate
appreciate that. Yeah.
So let's go back to the conference, talk a little bit more
Yeah.
about that. So can you talk about any keynotes? Like to me, keynotes like that sets the stage, right? Like, so who do you have for keynotes or what are the topics you can talk about?
Okay. So if I told you, I'll just put it out there. So
Uh-oh.
one of our keynotes, I'm super excited about this because like I'm a military brat. Like I am anything related to our armed services and for those veterans out there, those that are serving, thank you for your service. I'm super, super excited. We're gonna have Lieutenant General Milford Beagle Jr. That's going to join us. He was the commanding general of the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Liberty down in North Carolina, or some of us know it as a different name from back in the day, but it's called Fort Liberty now. I have to keep
Right.
reminding myself about that.
Yep.
But here's the most impressive thing when you think about that topic of ground truth and you think about having to lead your organization through the noise and to be able to filter out the noise to keeping your mission in front of you and to keep focus on what's most important, protecting people and protecting products and protecting your brand across the board. What better person to be able to talk to us about this? Lieutenant General Beagle commanded a 20,000 person division, 20,000. Like if you
Wow.
think about, the 82nd Airborne, they liken that to a mini city. And so when
Hmm.
you think about, that amount of people, when you put that into a corporate setting, that aligns to any of our mid to larger size organizations across the retail landscape. And so to be able to hear from him, to hear how he handled and stayed close to the truth that was on the ground and how he led the teams through any and these this airborne division, they had to be ready to respond at a minute's notice to be able to deploy and to be able to respond and deal with all the noise, but to keep their mission core. And so I'm super excited to tell you that he's going to be one of our keynotes. I can't wait to be
Love
a
it.
listener in that room, to be able to hear some of the nuggets that he's going to drop. I'll share with you too a couple more things. So of course we're going to have we'll have a workshop on that precedes the conference. We'll have a workshop on Sunday that will be focusing on gift card fraud. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that here in a little bit, but that workshop will talk about gift card fraud at a high level. It'll have attorney generals there, and it'll have partners there that are looking at gift card fraud from all spectrums of it, from the business side, from the retailer side, from the law enforcement side, from the prosecutorial side. They'll have a lot of pieces within that workshop. But the cool thing is that during the conference, we're going to have some breakout sessions that are going to take you through real-time case examples of how to investigate these offenses or
Ooh, I love it.
investigate these events. And so, super excited about that. I'll drop two more nuggets. That's
All
it.
right.
I'm only going to drop two more.
That's it.
We're going to have another keynote that's going to go through the human side of protection. And so it's going to look at, when we are deploying these protective strategies and cycles within the retail environment, how do we humanize that? How do we do it in an environment that is culturally responsible, depending upon where our stores are actually deployed? So that's another one. I can't wait to be in the room for
Yeah.
that one. And then the last one I'm going to drop is retail crime reform. And so we're going to have a discussion off of the main stage. It's going to be focused in on the retail crime reform, what that approach actually looks like, and how retailers are deploying that approach within their organization. So those are things that I'm super excited about. And I just
Hmm.
shared like several of the keynotes. So if you don't have a ticket yet, I hope that's got you interested now.
Well, I signed up and my ears definitely pricked up. So retail reform, okay,
Mhm.
without giving away too much, are you talking about like the laws, legislation, or rehabbing people after they get convicted? Like, what do you mean? Or can you not say?
That
Tease
discussion is
me,
going to go.
Chris.
Look, that discussion is going to go both down both of those roads. Both
Okay.
of those roads is going to go down. It's going to be a really good one. Really good one.
I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love what you've just mentioned. I'm excited. I can tell you're excited. But how are the sessions, the breakout sessions shaping up? I know sometimes, especially the last few years with a lot of PR teams and comms teams really cracking down on who can participate,
Yeah.
in different sessions. Are you things shaping up pretty good? You got retailers
Yeah.
participating?
I got to tell you, the AP world, we're competitive. Of course, all the retailers most of them compete in class with each other. But when it comes to bad actors and when it comes to those that are bringing violence in the retail setting, that's a place we don't compete in. The competition is against the bad guy, and it's who's going to get the bad guy first. And so what we're seeing as the breakouts are shaping up, we're seeing teams coming together. They are ready to share case
Great.
examples. They're ready to share methodologies that they've focused or tool to be able to go after different events within their organization. We're going to have some breakout sessions on supply chain and risk avoidance within the supply chain, which I think is another key thing. Of course, we're going to talk ORC. We're going to talk workplace violence. We're going to spend some time, and we're actually going to have several solution providers and retailers talk about some of the deployments that they've done when it comes to AI and computer vision. I want to
Nice.
be clear though, the theme of the conference is ground truth. And so
Hmm.
as we've developed all of these breakout sessions, we've done it through the lens of ground truth. So this isn't about, questions about futuristic topics or futuristic things that could happen. We're going to be going through real life examples and deployments that retailers are actually leaning into today that can be scaled across other organizations or processes that they've adapted and had success in can be replicated within other retailers as well. And so that's the key differentiator with what the conference attendees are actually going to get. You're going to walk away with collaborative peer environments, new friends, but also examples and tools that you can use today within your retail organization.
Yeah, I love it. And you guys you're tapping into something. And I think especially you mentioned supply chain. And I know you guys you had a recently a conference for
Yeah.
supply chain, but I see more and more the industry and this profession leaning into enterprise-wide, risk management solutions. And I think the supply chain and other things you mentioned, really tap into that and lean into that, which is great to hear.
Steph, one really, really cool thing is when you think about the total loss topology, that is not just within the asset protection vertical. When you think about total loss, this is looking at loss across everything, whether it's a person running out the door or spoilage of goods or, returns, damages. It's looking at everything. And so,
Mhm.
as you start to think about, like you said, the breakout sessions and just what's going into all of the work that the retailers are going to be talking about, we're looking at loss across the total spectrum. And this is where those cross-functional conversations really come into a place, and where the information that the attendees will be able to receive can be actionable the day that they leave the conference and go back to their organizations.
Love it. Yeah. And a well-rounded leader is going to be really tuned into those,
Yeah.
I would think.
Yep.
So I saw on the schedule that you also have two sort of post conference sessions. Can you talk about those?
Yeah. So um, now I'm going to tease on these because I'm not going to drop the full vibe on these yet. But I will tell you, if you registered and you haven't signed up for the Wednesday workshops, there's two of them. One of them, on the agenda, you'll see it says Women in Asset Protection Workshop. This is developing your personal leadership commitments and why it matters. And so, this is geared towards all the women that serve in the asset protection space. And over the years, we've seen more and more and more women. I'm sure you've seen more and more fellow colleagues kind of join that leadership realm when it comes to women in the AP space. And I'm super, super excited to be able to have Michelle's going to lead that session again, but super excited to be able to have that. And it's not just for women in AP. It's for allies like me that
Okay,
are
nice.
fully supportive of our women colleagues within the asset protection space. So if you haven't signed up, that's one workshop that you definitely want to get into. And then the second workshop, I'm going to tease this one really, really hard, but just to make you chuckle here in a minute. It's called Beyond the Confession, and it's using evidence-based interviewing to build a credible case. And so many of you guys out there have gone through some level of investigative training. Some level of it, whether it be different companies or whoever the practitioner is, you've gone through some level of investigative training. I'm telling you, you're going to want to sign up for this one because this is going to be a hybrid training class. So if you've gone through basic level of investigative training or advanced, or maybe you have three letters behind your name, like a CFI, whatever level of training you've gone through, you're going to want to be in the room for this one because it's going to support you if you're a first-time investigator or a senior level investigator. It's going to support you on evidence-based interviewing and really how to dig in and to deploy some tools and tactics across the board. And there's a super savvy trainer that's going to lead this workshop. We'll release it really, really soon, but I'm telling you now, those seats are limited for both of those workshops. You're going to want to make sure that you sign up for them, and make sure you're in the room.
All right. They're probably going fast, so they better get signed up.
They're going to go
Yeah.
really fast, especially when we release the person that's going to be leading the workshop. I'm sure they'll go really, really quick. And I forgot to mention this. For that investigative workshop, you can get some continuing education credits. And so if you need CEU credits for your CFI or for other training out there, you need it for your LPF, LPC, it will be eligible. You'll be eligible. Many parts of the conference will be eligible for the CEU credits, but especially that workshop.
Nice. I love it. I love it. You've got a really nice, it sounds like a nice balance of different topics happening. I'm excited. Just as a lifetime learner, I love to go to these conferences and learn more. So I'm super jacked to go and see what you guys have going on. And also the expo floor is always fun, getting to see my old friends out there and seeing the new technologies. So I'm excited about it. Anything else, Chris, that's happening over at RILA that you want to let folks know about?
Yeah, so many people always ask. They're like, okay, from a legislative standpoint, what are you guys doing? You guys, RILA is an advocacy trade,
Mhm.
trade association. How are you advocating? And so I just want to mention we are, while we have a phenomenal conference planned in April and we're doing a lot of work across the AP space. When it comes to legislative updates, there's not a lot to update on. There's a lot of bigger fish that Congress that our public officials are
They're
frying in DC right
kind
now.
of busy, kind of
They're
busy
kind,
right
they're
now.
kind of busy on a couple of things, but I'll tell you, that the Corker bill is one that we are staying very close to.
Mhm.
We are hoping for a spring arrival of that bill to the president's desk for signature. So we're staying very close to that. We are watching state by state whether when it comes to gift card and financial fraud enforcement and any bills that are helping to support the investigation and apprehension of those individuals that are depriving retailers and consumers when it comes to gift card and financial fraud. We are also monitoring very, very closely. There's a lot of workplace safety mandates that are happening. So whether
Yes.
you're in New York or in Oregon or in California, there's a lot of new bills, especially New York, new bills that are about to roll out. They'll be effective January 1 in most cases. And so we're watching those. And then we're watching the biometrics privacy laws. So there's a lot of
Oh,
noise about biometric privacy laws that are coming up. At the start of this year, New York posted where you have to, if you're using any of that technology in your stores in New York, you have to post it on the front door. And so we're staying very, very close to that. And right behind that would be data privacy protection and the regulations behind those. So, those are just some of the legislative areas. We are staying lockstep with that, our GR teams, our public affairs teams, and of course, you might even see me at some point testifying on the Hill on some of these initiatives in the spring season as well. So more to
okay.
come. But I just wanted to share that we stay very active in that space.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And good luck to you if you do have to testify. That's nerve-wracking, I'm sure.
I lost all the hair in the last couple of testimonies, so we'll see what happens next.
Oh, but it is a relief to hear that RILA is out there. I got the retailers' backs with all this and working on these things. It helps us sleep a little bit better at night, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Especially when we can serve as the voice. That's the key.
Mhm.
There are times where, as a retailer, you and I, we were on that side. There are certain things we can't say in the public because we have boards and we have consumers and we have a lot of other people that they listen in to what's said out there. And so when you're able to use a trade association to be your voice, to be able to advocate for the greater good of your organization, to be able to do that in a safe and responsible way, that's what we're here for. That's what we do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I love it, Chris. Thank you for everything you do, and
Yeah.
thank you to RILA for all you guys do over there. I know the industry appreciates it. But I'll see you soon. I'll see you
Yes.
April. What was the date again? I'm
April
quizzing you.
19th.
It's the 19th to the 22nd.
Yes,
Right.
yes, April 19th. I will see you very, very soon. It's coming
Yeah,
like clockwork, so
it's
quick.
gonna be here soon. I better
Yeah.
book my flight now.
There you go. There you go. And don't forget to sign up for those workshops.
Those workshops for
Yes.
sure, for sure.
Yep.
All right, Chris. Well, it's always good to talk with you. I hope you
Same
have
here,
a
Steph.
great time and you don't stress out too much over your planning over the conference. We'll talk to
Sounds
you
like a
soon.
plan. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.